you doing? All right.
Right, yeah. How's your new place?
Yeah, it's all right. It's just my dad's little place. But
Yeah,
it's really sweet. Yeah, he's done it really nice. It's just a little two-bed place, but he's just made it really nice. So
okay.
it's just yeah. At the moment, because I only got here yesterday. At the moment, it's like being on The reality of like living here now is like not settled in at all. So it's all really novel at the moment. It's like, oh, just being somewhere different. I'm like, wicked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's gonna
yeah.
be. I guess it's gonna be a little bit stress-free, though, isn't it? I guess you know.
Oh well, the thing is, sort of.
Oh,
it's,
okay.
it's what for me. I kind of feel like it's the kind of forced slowing down thing that I'm really reluctant to do because
Yeah,
I'm I'm just a bit ready to do things, and everything just feels like you've got to keep stepping back and then step back from the step back you've taken and then step back again.
but
So
you can manipulate that energy, can't you? And you can use it to your own devices, I guess.
yeah, I think you can. I think I'm just
At
perhaps
least
I'm,
you're aware of that, perhaps. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know. It's to be honest, it's a good lesson in learning to sort of slow down and learning to not. I say that I've only been here like 24 hours and I've pretty much done the whole island
Oh,
this morning. Yeah.
how long does it take to do the whole island?
Well, probably not the whole island, but like it's not. I don't know. It's not big, so you could probably do it in a few hours in the car, I
Yeah,
reckon.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just a bit restless. So,
I know, I know.
how are you finding it? Because obviously, how's your back? Because I know
It's
Claire's
all right,
been telling.
yeah. It's getting better actually, but
Yeah, yeah.
now I've got like chronic toothache.
Oh no.
Just, just fuck this.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Can you get to a dentist? No.
No, you can't. Well, I went yesterday and he gave me a load of antibiotics, but I'm on loads of painkillers as well because of the back.
Oh, crikey. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm just zoned out. You know what I mean?
Oh no. Yeah.
But
Not a bad place to be at the moment, though, in some
absolutely,
respects.
I mean, you know what? It could have happened in like a busy year or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, true.
And then
Yeah,
it would have been full. But before I start, I've got to say something first. I've got to do a load of official stuff.
cool.
So, for anyone watching, myself and Tor, uh, you can support venues all around the country by donating to their fundraising campaigns, which are listed on venue donations page on the IVW website, the independentvenueweek.com. If you want to donate to multiple venues, you can do that. Or you can go onto the general fundraising campaign listed at the top. Okay. So yeah, so basically that's that. So you've got that in there. So that's the independentvenueweek.com. Just go to that. And if you want to donate to a specific venue or just across the board, then, that would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, so that's it. And there you go. So yeah, my name's Jason, and this is Tor, aka Billy Nomates, and yeah. So yeah, so everything's all right then.
Everything's all right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, everyone's well, and I've got a roof over my head. I'm not too worried about things. So yeah, it's not the year we wanted, is it? But
No, it's not. But I mean, you are. I mean, you're on the cusp of greatness, aren't you? You know what I mean? You kind of you're a very good artist. You're about to release a single, and there's going to be an album, etc. But obviously the pandemic came along and it just fucking closed the curtains on the operation momentarily. I mean, how are you finding that now with the whole? I mean, it's an head fuck, isn't it? Just in the sense of starting to feel like you're getting somewhere. That's weird, isn't it?
yeah, really, really weird. What's like really like this is for me. This is the really hard thing because I I'm so ready to go and do this. I'm
Yeah,
so ready, and the opportunity to have a like 10 years trying to do stuff, and the opportunity now sort of in my lap, sat there like the end of February, we got the record done. Such a high. If you'd have said like 4 months ago, the world was just, what the fuck happened? Like, so yeah, it's frustrating. That's the only word. It's just very frustrating. But I'm just trying to remain positive and think, right, okay, well, I've had to make the best of shit situations before. So how can I best make the best of this one? And what can I do? That's the thing though, isn't it? It's like, we know what we can't do, so what can we do? What things have you been trying to put in place to kind of beat this negative? Because it's easy to fall in that trap, isn't it? Oh God. And the thing is, I do as well. Like, I have like self-loathing moments, or like just moments of like, it's all gone wrong for me. But then very quickly I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, no, look, you haven't broke your leg, the world's broke its leg, and there's nothing that anyone can really do about it on a big scale. So yeah, I do get negative, but I think I go running a lot, which helps. I try and get out a lot, and I've started setting up, my dad's kindly let me have his shed, which it was up for debate to begin with, and then I basically put on Twitter, oh, dad's let me have his shed, and he's like, you haven't asked me. I saw some pictures of it actually, so it looks all right. It's like a proper little thing, but so it'll be all right. We're going to get internet like connected in there and stuff. Then I'll just while away. I think it's just having a space. In a way, it's like because it's that separate from the house thing. So it'll be like, I've gone out the house to go and do something. Imagine that. Oh, but, that's brilliant. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I mean, you've got you settled there. You're going to be away. Are you working on lots of other ideas at the minute then? Or? I've got stuff like, I've been writing stuff a lot, like just writing in journals and just writing stuff, nothing too actually relatable to what's going on, just wanted to pick up writing again. So I've got like half a book full of stuff, or just lines I've heard off the radio. Like I started putting Radio 4 on a lot in the morning, and just some of the lines, just some of the one-off lines you hear, I'll just write them down, because I'm like, that's going somewhere. Like, it doesn't need. So what would you do with that? Would you incorporate that into your own set of lyrics then, sort of thing? Yeah, I guess so. I'll just sometimes there's just a headline or just something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just catches your ear and you go, that's brilliant. And if you were just to elaborate on that one thing, you can just run with it. Like, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. I can see that kind of fitting the way that you do things in a way, you know what I mean? Right. I think go on. I think it's this is that kind of current angle, isn't it? Or if there's something that you just think, you can't actually say it any better than, especially with really strange shit, you can't say it any better than some of the headlines or some of the way that things come out already yourself. You can't really elaborate on it. I mean, you do that brilliantly with your stuff. I mean, you incorporate stuff that you sort of recognize or see from somewhere, and then you just run with it. And I love that kind of style of writing anyway. So well, they're very similar in some respects, I think. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you're definitely a significantly better writer than me, but yeah, similar, I'll take. Daft. Don't be daft. So, I mean, now you're kind of over the initial shock of it. I mean, are you starting now to kind of to look at the future and the start of what's going to be your released output more positively, do you think? Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm definitely up for bringing a positive, like putting some positive energy towards the next step, definitely. Because I think as well, especially the last 2 months, all it's been is like what we can't do, where we're not going, and it's like, oh fucking hell. So it's quite hard to stay positive. But no, I want to go, okay, well, there's a couple of things we can do, and let's look at writing new stuff, or let's look at experimenting with recording in a way that I perhaps wouldn't have been given the time to before, or I don't know, yeah, to try and stay positive and just go, okay, like I said, like we know what we can't do, so shit, what can we do? Like,
You've got a bit more. I mean, obviously, with the success of the little taster you put out on Bandcamp, you got a bit of dough from that. Did that allow you to buy a bit of extra equipment, etc.?
it did, yeah. It was that was really good. Like, I was surprised that anyone would bother. To be honest with you, I was like really overwhelmed by that. It did, yeah. So I've been able to invest in like a slightly nicer synth. That's
Sure.
got like 20 keys and not 8. Like, to be honest, probably only use 8, but
I wouldn't underplay that EP because it's you've got the kind of sound that's very interesting, even when you think that your ideas are probably not fully formed, or you disregarded, or you yourself disregard, ideas that have been released out into the landscape, and e.g. this EP you did, But I think all of it is really interesting. It all carries. You've got such a weight with the way you sing and the way you arrange songs and the style that you pin onto each of these tunes. You know what I mean? So I thought it was really strong, to be honest.
oh, cool. That's cool. I don't know. It's one of them things. I think I'm still getting to. I'm still sort of understanding that some people might quite like it. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
I think it's in my head. It's still just. It's not competing in the same bracket as everybody else. But if people like it and want to sort of take to it, then that's wicked.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you can, a lot of stuff that we've released, I've not been that asked about.
Right.
But it's really popular with people that like it,
Yeah,
And it's like, my first choice, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
you've put it in there because it works for some reason. But yeah, I hear you on it, definitely. I think that's the thing with it, innit? And it's confusing, innit, knowing that line of whether to disregard it or just go, well, I'm gonna put that out there because it is good. It might not be something I'm fully into, but it is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I think as well, one thing I'm slowly sort of learning is that if I disregard something or I think something's crap, if somebody says, I really like that, it's actually almost a bit disrespectful to go, well, it's shit. Why do you like it? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Because I do it a lot, and then all of a sudden I was like, that's actually really rude and disrespectful because they're telling me they like something. I'm like, what shit? It's actually a bit like shouldn't really say that. But yeah, so it's learning to kind of respect that actually, especially if you do create something fully formed and someone just likes it or just takes it as it is. It's actually disrespectful to go, no. It's not my, at that point it's not my right really to say no, you shouldn't like it, is it? So yeah.
I'm bad at it. I am. Yeah. What are you on about? Oh no, actually, tell me why you like it.
Yeah.
Tell me. Yeah.
Perhaps I've disregarded this.
5 minutes. You can tell me, I don't mind.
Yeah. Oh no, we're the worst.
So you did your gig at the 100 Club, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
How did it make you feel playing that place?
Oh, just fucking on fire.
I mean, I wasn't there, but obviously Claire was telling me it was just. I mean, and the photographs, it just looked properly tight. Do you know what I mean? But you others before that, hadn't you? Sorry, I'm butting in, but
no. Sorry, I am.
More before that, and which you weren't too sure about, and then this 100 Club one comes along, and then it just bang. So, I mean, was that a turning point for you, do you think?
I think it was in terms of, I hadn't gone out with Billy Nomates all that much. So in terms of the fact that it's London and it's the 100 Club and it's like, it was fucking loud. And like, there was just, you definitely, because I think it was one of them gigs where I felt like I'd sort of pressed the button and there was an autopilot that had happened, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was definitely going to do it, whatever it was.
Yeah,
or I
sure.
didn't know I was going to move, or I didn't know how I was going to, but I just, rather than sort of second guess it or be not so sure or whatever, I just fucking went with it, and it was just wicked. Because for people, especially if for people to have a good reception as well to that, because I feel like that's definitely going to go one or two ways. To have a good reception to it, I was just like, oh, out the gate, like, yeah, it was wicked.
They look brilliant. I mean, it's just your performance is just so random, innit? And, in a good way.
Yeah, no, for sure, they are random, like, and
go on.
No, yeah, they definitely are, and it's really random how that's happened as well, because it's not how I intended it to be, and then I would just randomly do stuff, and I'll be like, but that's how it works now. Like, if I try premeditate anything too much, it just fucking doesn't work. So
no,
yeah,
I mean, we've talked before, haven't we, about this idea of dance,
yeah,
of unchoreographed, what's the word, non-choreographed dance, is it?
yeah,
You feel like doing. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be rhythm, or it doesn't have to follow the beat, just crazy shit.
Yeah,
It works, doesn't it? I think,
it's weird.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like it definitely does work. I mean, like, you're fucking amazing at that. Like, the way that you move is so, no one can do that. Nobody can do the way that. It's the same. It's really similar musically, I think, like movement, because it's so personal, and it's so, you have your trademark moves, and everyone knows that's you. And I love that.
You're the same with your stuff, and you can see it in your videos, and obviously the little snippets are like, whatever, whoever's filmed you live or whatever. But you're getting that as well, and it's like, it's a thing, isn't it? Where it's like, on paper it's like, oh no, it's a bit crap, but visually it looks on point. I think. Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting thing.
I think it's an energetic thing for me. It's like, it just, if it matches the energy of the music, if you can, with visually or movement or whatever, it's like it just becomes part of it, as much as everything else. And then that just excites me, because it's that multi-dimensional thing where you're like, fuck. it's like it's not this square thing. It's like there's all these different things going on, and that's wicked.
What motivates you in the sense of what influences you in the sense of singers, in the sense of vocal? Because you've got it's part English, part almost American, isn't it? The way you sing, like not transatlantic, but there's a definite theatrical Americanism to it, but it really works. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got obviously your deadpan sort of Leicester accent. Do you know what I mean? It's in there as well. And other variations of an English accent. It's really interesting. What were your influences? Do you have any key influences as regards singers, or?
This is the thing. So there's no one singer or there's no one act really. It's just that I grew up with a lot of Americana. My dad's a massive Americana fan. So there's, from like really young, I just remember American voices in music, and that was my introduction to music. And the same with Northern Soul, it was always American voices.
Yeah, sure.
So that's how I think of music, and I would sing, like the first time I would sing would be singing along to those records. So that's how I kind of remember it becoming. Also as well, it then just sort of becomes part of your, I don't know, those Americanisms, and I would be really into, I sort of was in love with the idea of America, and like,
I was,
right, there's just something really, so you watch American films or shows or TV, or so you kind of, because it was more exotic than Mel Moby, do you know what I mean? Like, so, and there was something about it where I was like, to be American is to be cool. I mean, I don't really feel that. I don't really feel that way anymore, to be honest. But
No, I don't. No, I've grown out of that. But
yeah,
as a young age, it was like it was
yeah,
definitely presented as the promised land. You know what I mean?
right, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And musically as well, it was just like, I remember a lot. My dad was really into Tom Petty, and the way, the way that Tom Petty would sing, and that kind of that strange kind of
sure.
American cool dialect, and I was just fascinated by it. And by not hearing many women do it either as well, because often female American voices would be quite soft or country.
Yeah.
And the idea of hearing, well, all I knew anyway, so the idea of hearing female voices that were quite like ballsy and that just had something else in there, I just always liked that.
I think it's really good. I think it's like you get to a point, I don't know, it's a really unapologetic way of doing things. And no, I think it's really strong, I really
No,
it straight away. It's really good, definitely.
that's cool. It's funny, some people are straight away are just like, oh, why are you playing around with Americanisms, why are you doing that? And it's like, I think for me it's one of those things where it's like, unless you are, I think with you, like as a vocalist, you're so, the essence of, like, the way I hear you is the way that you represent fully where you're from in every aspect, whereas I just don't feel like I would do that very well. So for me it's always been like, just put in whatever the fuck you want. Like,
You've got, like, I don't know what the word is. You're more exotic, aren't you? I think. Do you know what I mean? In the sense of you are.
oh no, not at all. Yeah.
When, when you listen to your stuff, it's more. It takes in the whole thing. Whereas I got quite sort of interested in sort of the sort of four walls of misery that followed me around for so long, and sort of started to look at that as an option. But
Yeah.
I think yours is, I don't know, it's kind of, it takes in everything. You've managed to put there's a melting pot of influence there, isn't there? You know what I mean? That variations on shades and contours and whatever, it's quite something, you know what I mean?
That's wicked. But musically though, I mean, you say it's musically with Sleaford Mods, I always think though your influences are all over the place.
Oh God, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
musically, that's one of the biggest things that I love about Sleaford Mods. Obviously yourself as well, but musically, musically, it's fucking, what is it? Like when I hear Andrew's, the way Andrew works, I'm just like, what is it?
Yeah,
Like wow.
I don't
Like,
even think he knows, to be honest.
but that's what I mean. It's brilliant. Like that's exotic in itself because it's like a brand new thing. So you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's stuff like when he sends it through, it's like it's the most interesting stuff for me.
Yeah.
Personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are a few collabs and that, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but when he sends his stuff through, it's like, oh fuck, I can really get my hands around this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I've got a few questions to ask. So, I mean,
Oh.
kind of, were you? Is there any venues that you really dreamt to play in? Or obviously dream of playing. Sorry,
Yeah. Oh. I not so much venues. There's always been a thing. I mean, I slag it off no end, but there's always been a thing of like, I've got to play Glastonbury. Like
Yeah.
at some, it's just I think it's in every artist and musician that at some point that will be a big moment where if you can go and do Glastonbury, happy days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then ultimately I'll often slag it off as well. I'll be like, fucking
Yeah, like anyone though, isn't it?
yeah.
Everyone knocks it, and then do you want to play it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love it. No, I mean it's brilliant. It's the best one. It is obviously,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think you're definitely, well, you will be playing that. Obviously, I think you get down like no, it'd be really good. You're perfect for it. You know what I mean? Obviously. So, but. And what about smaller places? Is there anywhere that
Smaller places. Do you know? I don't really know. Like,
where would you say, where would you play and think, oh, you know, this is it, I've arrived? Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. No, Glastonbury. I mean, in terms, I don't know. Do you know, smaller venues probably like. Well, that's it. You see, because I've done a few. Like, I've done some of the smaller venues with different bands. So for me to arrive would be like, you know, as much as I think they're not great venues, but to arrive would be at like a big venue. So
Yeah.
you'd go to like an O2 or something, or you'd go to like, you know, to be able to play a student union and pack it out or something,
Yeah,
you know.
sure, yeah.
You know, I've never done that. So to me, that's kind of like, that's kind of, you know, people might say, oh, that's rubbish, but I've never had it. So part of me is like, I'd love to actually get to that point.
I reckon, yeah. I think it's more like a question to ask you in about a year or something, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anyone you'd like to collaborate with? Is you strike me as being a very singular artist in the sense of you are most comfortable doing your own shit. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, is there anyone that you've always dreamt of, you know, colluding with?
No, to be honest, because I like people, and if stuff comes up that, like, the opportunity comes up and you like people, then that's wicked. But there's not a burning desire to collaborate, because it's sort of been, I've done stuff with people, and now I've sort of got this space bump to myself. I've kind of got the space to myself, and I quite like it.
Yeah.
I think it would be more a case of maybe working with a producer or something, or collaborating.
You got anybody in mind, do you think?
Nah, do you know, for a while I quite liked like Ethan, the way that Ethan Johns would produce stuff. I was always like, he would be one to go for.
Who's that?
He's the son of oh, what's his dad's name? His dad done the Beatles stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
And he produces a lot of albums. He does a lot of, again, you see, it's that more Americana sound. So it'll be like he'll have done Laura Marlin's album. And
yeah, sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
But I quite like he's got quite a rustic way of producing. So maybe someone like that would be quite cool. But to be honest, like, just whatever.
Yeah, whatever works, innit? Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing. You could pick a name, but at the end of the day, it would probably be someone you met at a cafe, or someone that's just fucking wicked, and you'd be like, this person. Like,
yeah. I think a lot of it is also like a lot of producers. A lot of people that work with producers aren't necessarily have kind of been signed up by a big label, perhaps.
Right. Yeah.
Producers come in the most these days, isn't it? Because like yourself and like us, you know, we learn to produce our own shit in our houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And go on to just keep producing our own shit, and I find I get the impression these days producers are mostly wheeled out by corporates, you know, throw into people's faces who haven't got a choice to do but to work with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As maybe as well that if you're a band and it's like, you know, if you've got like quite a high budget, you know, perhaps it's just one of the things where you think that's the kind of polish on it, or you think that's the be all and end all.
Yeah, very true.
You know, and actually maybe it just ain't. But I felt like it for a long time. I mean, don't get me wrong, working with, like, so obviously I worked with Jeff Bauer on the record.
Tell us about that. How was that?
I mean, that's what I mean. Slagging off working producers, but like obviously working with someone like Jeff is fucking amazing, because you just learn so much, and it's for me, it's all still a learning process. So to see the way that somebody can reframe a sound, or that somebody perceives something, you know, it's just interesting. It's just really interesting. And he just hears stuff a certain way, or is quite good at grasping, you know, what you're saying. Oh, I'm going for this. He'll kind of grasp what you're going for,
Yeah. I think, and also with Jeff, he hates doing it as well, doesn't he? He just he hates it. I hate it. I'll do it. I hate it. You know, Jeff reminds me of, right? I was in France once and I went to this like restaurant in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Me and my mum and my dad. And we all sat down and some bloke walks out and he just looked like he hated us. And he was like, what do you want? You know, and it's like, well, we'll have this. And he went, yeah, all right, whatever. And then shuffled off and then came back out, lobbed it on the table and it was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that with music in it. Like, I fucking hate it. Well, why don't you try it? All right, try it. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. And it sounds brilliant. You know?
Yeah. No, but it's kind. I kind of like that because I didn't know loads of. I mean, I knew Portishead. Obviously, I knew Portishead. I had dumb. I remember buying Dummy from Woolworths.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely had that, and I hadn't told him that, but like.
No.
I just took him as I saw him, sort of thing. Well, what I really like about him is that he's got all this, obviously, massive wealth of experience and knowledge and all of that stuff behind him, but he doesn't. Yeah, there's none of that really about him. He's just kind of who he is, and I like that. I like that kind of. Yeah, you know, he might not like everything, or he might say something, and you're just like, all right, but that's, you know, it's not coming from any other place than the fact that he is who he is, and it's.
Yeah, sure.
You know, yeah. Like,
I think, I mean, what you've done together with that Wicked, you know.
Oh, wicked.
He is, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like, he's a reluctant producer, as we've said, in it, and I think those kind of characters are really, they're the more interesting, you know, kind of, they're not kind of forcing themselves, are they, you know, on people or whatever, you know what I mean?
No, totally, and I kind of get that impression from like that Andrew's quite a bit like that, maybe, like not the reluctant producer, but there's no kind of air about him of anything other than the fact that he's just into making fucking music.
Yeah, totally. And he hates anything like, you know, he hates all of that bullshit. He hates all the glitz, and he doesn't like interviews that much. I mean, when he gets going with it, he's all right, actually. But he just doesn't like doing it. Yeah, he doesn't see the point, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm inclined to agree with him. You know? He is just dog shit. But I think, I mean, obviously, if you're going to release a record, you got to tat it about, haven't you? You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, I quite happily like sit there and talk about myself all day. It's actually
it's hard work.
Anyway, I'm going to ask you some questions now from people that have sent them in.
Cool.
People are loads of fans have sent you some questions. So I'm going to start. Let's have a look. Ellie Finlayson would like to know, what would your ideal 3-course meal be?
Right. The thing is, I don't do starters. Pointless.
Right.
Pointless. Who has a starter?
Why don't you like starters?
Just pointless. Just why? I don't need to warm up to eat. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just eat. So skip the starter.
Okay.
We'll go straight for, like, I reckon go for either like a Thai dish, something really fresh and Thai.
Yeah.
Something really fragrant, or maybe like I don't know, I really like just something like maybe like a Mediterranean, just loads of like lush cooked veg all in oil and like fresh herbs, and just.
Are you big on puddings and stuff?
Yeah, then I'll just literally shove my face in like a double chocolate cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well that answers that. Right. Yeah. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Oscar Reeves would like to know, going back to what we were talking about earlier, dance moves, etc. You like to move about a lot in your videos and on stage live. What influences your dance moves?
The fact that I can't dance influences my dance moves, to be honest with you. The fact that I can't dance. You know, people can dance, and I know people that can dance, and I can't. So yeah, I'm like, you fuckers, where did you learn this? Yeah, so the fact that I can't, and then kind of just also I'm quite restless, and when you sit down and make music all day or record or whatever, the idea of then doing it live is like, I want to get into it, I want to move. Sure. So the fact that I'm not very good at it, I thought would maybe work in my favor, especially because female dancers often are quite good. Like you do see male dancers often not dancing well and getting away with it, but female dancers, you are expected to be quite sexy and quite fluid.
This is a really interesting point, actually.
I think, and so it's one of them things where it's like, well, what would happen if you flip the script and you really weren't very good? You know, but also just being aware of movement. My dad.
Do you think that was a conscious state? Do you think it's a conscious statement in a way? Then was that at the forefront of? Was that idea the fact that, you know, women largely they have to be seen to get it right, and in certain respects look sexy and do you think this was at the forefront when you were, you know, kind of cultivating this thing?
For sure. You're not used to seeing women not look quite good doing something. Sure. Often, like they often do just happen to look pretty good. Either they happen to look pretty good at doing something, or they just are. So yeah, there is definitely an element of wanting to bring something that is not that good or that polished, and to make it count, and to be seen to do that as well, because I try and think back to like female role models, and they just all look amazing. And the thing is, sometimes you just go, but what I wanted to see was someone a bit rough.
Completely. I think that's a really good point.
I
never looked at it like that, obviously, because I'm a fucking man. But yeah, I know that's a really interesting point, because men are allowed to get away with it, aren't they? You know.
Well, it's funny. It's kind of funny when a man does it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when a woman does it, it's just like perhaps less funny. And the thing is, it's not even about being funny. It's just about, I don't know. It's just about being like, fuck being nice all the time. Fuck looking good all the time. Like if I want to just do something a bit rough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Completely. That's a really interesting point. Right. Let's have a look. What else we got? Well, do you have any plans for more Bandcamp releases? And what do you think about what they have been doing over the lockdown? I mean, they've been getting quite lauded, haven't they, Bandcamp? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, Spotify look positively evil at the minute, don't they? You know what I mean?
It's the streaming thing, isn't it? It's the whole streaming thing. Like, I think Bandcamp have got a good model. Essentially, I think they just know how to really work with artists, and they're shining at the moment because of the whole streaming thing. Sure. And the fact that they're giving control to an artist, they're taking, like, they give you 70% of everything that goes directly to you. And it's like, you know,
it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, this is it. So the thing is, ultimately, like, they are the better service. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of work on official stuff a bit more, because we've been with Invader Records is like something, you know, I'm really fortunate to be with a label. So the idea of, I don't think I'm going to do too many more kind of demo-y bits and whack them up, because actually what I'm in a position to do now is to make something proper to actually do that. I mean, the thing is, I tend to just mess about with stuff and put little clips of this, that and the other up, or just ideas. And but yeah, I think I sort of mess around a bit on Instagram with that just for my own amusement. But I probably won't use Bandcamp too much for more demo-y bits, because yeah, it's kind of about working with Invader now, and kind of respecting them as well, and support, you know, I know I'm not a massive income for them, but you know, it's respecting the fact that they've got me and they've signed me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think now you're at that point now, isn't it, where, you know, just let that take care of it, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully that's hopefully that will be a better end result as well.
What is your musical guilty pleasure? And this is a question asked by Tony Hutch.
I don't think there's any such thing as a guilty pleasure, because I like a lot.
I was thinking that the other day, actually. Whatever. Oh, no, Dan.
Yeah.
I did. Oh, I can't believe it. Can't believe you listened to that. I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It's stupid.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean by guilty? This is the thing, guilty pleasure. Like, I don't find anything too much of a guilty pleasure. I think I quite like, I mean, if I suppose what they mean by that is like what's not very cool to say you like, you know, I just fucking like anything. I really like anything. If something's got a good beat, if something's just got a good hook, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I really quite like when Justin Bieber, right, brought out that album, the one with all the hits on. I thought it was all right, because melodically, right, I just thought that's quite good.
Yeah,
like, it's catchy, it's got hooks, you know. I'm not a Justin Bieber fan. I didn't buy it. I just thought, you know,
you listen to the craft in it, don't you? You listen to
yeah,
the formulated and
yeah. And that whole sexy panpipe thing, I was like, it's weird, but it worked. Like,
panpipe, what's that?
Like on that, oh, what's the tune he's got it on, where it's just like a panpipe sound, and it's but he made them all like really sexy, and it's like the most unsexy thing in the world, panpipe. So I thought it was quite good.
What else have we got? Someone has asked, is your name really Billy, and do you really not have any mates?
It's not Billy, it's Tor, but I liked the term Billy Nomates. So
where did you get your name from?
Well, you know this. I had started doing music on my own, but I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. And then a fortuitous night, I went to a Sleaford Mods show in Southampton. And yeah, it was a guy, I don't know who the guy was to this day, just some drunk guy. I went on my own.
Yeah.
Just some guy just kind of bumped into me and was just like, it's Billy Nomates, or it's like, you're Billy Nomates or something. And I just thought it was just fucking brilliant. I was like, you fucking said something there. Like,
it really works. It really works. It's brilliant. It's really English, isn't it? But
it is quite English, yeah. It's an English. Is it an English phrase?
I think
like,
so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really old, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, yeah.
That was asked. That was by someone called Grievous Angel. Sorry, I'm not very good at reading the person's name before. I think that's it for questions. I think. I think that. I think that's about it, isn't it? Is there anything else? Is there anything you need to add?
Yes, I do. I'm going to add that I would like to remind people that I will be hosting. Are we finished? I have to do this at the end.
Well, just keep going. I'm sure. No, go on. You put it.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I would like to remind people to get their questions in for 5 p.m. by Tuesday the 7th, using the hashtag IVW Take 5. For I will be hosting. Why have I gone really like medieval? For I will be.
It's really hard, isn't it? It's fucking hard. You know, slagging all these people off on TV, and it's like, it's actually quite hard.
It's really difficult. Yeah. Now I feel like a medieval idiot. So yeah. So I'll be hosting the next IVW Take 5. and my guest is going to be the effortlessly cool Nadine Shah.
She's all right, isn't she? That album's good, actually. Well, I've only heard a couple of tunes from it, but I quite like it. You know.
Yeah, I'm really into it. I think there's some really interesting sounds, and I like the messaging behind it's great. It's cool.
Yeah, she seems all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it was lovely talking to you.
And you, yeah. You got anything exciting planned this week, or?
Nothing. Just moaning, I think.
Wicked.
More
Cool.
moaning, I think. Gonna start recording a new album in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, how's that going? Have you started that yet?
Started, yeah. You know, as you know, hush hush, say no more. More. And that's about it really. Apart from that, just taking it easy. What about you?
Just setting up and unpacking and getting the shed watertight, basically.
Oh, okay. What, sound tight sort of thing?
Sound tight and, genuinely watertight. Like the roof. No, it's all right. It's just check it. Once you've got electrical equipment and stuff in there, it's like you just double check it, don't you? Just go, that looks a bit loose, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just setting up and just, I don't know, I feel like I've met most of the local sheep, so...
Do you know anyone out there apart from your dad then?
No, I don't. This is the thing. I've heard that there's a couple of bands this way, which I might try and... I say I'll try and track down, but I know damn well I won't. So I just know there's a couple of bands there. That's it.
I guess there's not much going on there at the minute in the centre. Is it locked down over there then? Or? Yeah,
pretty much. Like they've reopened. It's just kind of the same as it is on the mainland. They've reopened bits and pieces, but there's no tourism here. So there's no, it's not, I think that's their main thing is like tourists would come for the day and have a nice day out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's quiet and it's just, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, sure. It's a nice place. I like it.
It's really scenic. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's just, we're in Freshwater Bay, which is like, the sea's literally just 5 minutes that way. So it's nice having. I've always lived coastal, so that's nice. Like
I think don't be afraid to sit back either. You know, just don't be afraid to take that in. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It could work for you. Sorry, kids are kicking off. It could work for you. You know what I mean in some respects.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's for me. I just feel we have to just. Yeah, you're right. We have to just learn to. Claire's good at this. Claire's really good at all this. She'll say stuff to me all the time, and I'm like, "You're right." And then I go away, and I'm like, going out of my mind, going, "Fuck!" how do you do that though? How do you once you start something, and it's that energy spark, isn't it? You know, you've got that someone set something off inside you, and you've gone, "Fuck!" Now you've got to go. Now you've got to sit with it, and you're like, "I don't want to sit with it."
No, definitely not. But I think, try to a little bit. I guess it's hard. It's easy. When I've been confronted with that situation where I've had to move back home when I was skint and it was just small and slow, and I just accepted it, and then it sort of worked. It kind of worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where was that then? You were in.
I had to move back to my parents like 2 or 3 times because I was on my arse, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Which was not good, really. But, you kind of just accept the rhythm of it after a while, and then it kind of works for you. You just have to accept your place with it, you know? I think, but obviously you're in a better position. You're not a wanker. And you've got really fucking Well, it was lovely talking.
And you, yeah. We'll give my love to Claire and Bo and Flora as well.
Well, they're here, prattling about, and we'll speak to you soon.
Cool, wicked. Take care then. Hey, Flora.
See you soon, Tor.
Take care. And you. Bye.